Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second interview of the Fuel Injection podcast. Today we have none other than Music Tribe's Robert Percy. How are you doing, Robert?
I'm good. There's not a lot that I can do because obviously the UK is still in lockdown, really. But yeah, I'm trying my best, trying to get on with things. It's
Yeah,
just someone else's.
yeah, I think we're all in that kind of situation, just trying to hang in though. Yeah. All right. So, where are you from?
I'm originally from a town called Croydon, which is in sort of like southwest or southeast London. I think it's kind of, I'll just say South London. And I moved to Swansea when I was about 13 because my dad got a job out here, so we all kind of moved, and I've been in Swansea ever since then. So yeah.
Nice. All right. Yeah, I heard. I went to England last summer. Actually, I went pretty much north to south, and so I got to see quite a bit of it. It was beautiful country. Yeah.
Whereabouts did you go? Like what places?
I started off in London and then went to like Stonehenge, and
Uh,
went down south to Cornwall a bit, and then visited some.
Stonehenge isn't too far from me. It's like a couple of hours.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Then I went up north to the Lake District to visit some friends.
Oh,
So,
look, some of my grandma's from the Lake District, so there's quite a bit of my family's from up there. It's a very lovely part of Britain.
yeah,
My,
absolutely.
my grandma is from Coniston, which is sort of the village where that's opposite, right up on the lake where Donald Campbell used to do his speed runs. So yeah, he was kind of a bit of a very much a local celebrity from what sort of people in my family have told me about what used to happen when he rolled up there.
Yeah, I bet there was probably somewhat of a crowd every time he
Oh,
went
apparently
up
he
there.
just used to take entire hotels over with him and his team. Like they
Oh
would just
wow! Oh wow!
they basically have like an entire floor or an entire hotel to themselves, and they
Yeah,
basically run the place because
just kind of like a local celebrity then.
you know, they'd spend so much money as well because they were up to their sort of earfuls and sponsor money. So like as anyone who does things like that is, so yeah, like they would roll up, they'd take the hotel to themselves, spend loads of money, and everyone would be very happy.
Yeah, but it was good for the economy.
Probably.
Yeah,
It's quite a little village, so I don't think a lot happens apart from when somebody major like that rolls through.
yeah. All right, so obviously you are the leader of Music Tribe, so you're passionate about music. But what began that passion?
Um, well, my dad is a musician of sorts. It's not his job, but he as sort of a hobby, he used to do a lot of music. He still plays music a lot. He plays several instruments. He used to sing in choirs and things like that. So it kind of, and my mum was kind of musically inclined as well. So it kind of, and my granddad as well. So it kind of comes from that, and also is kind of something like it's just kind of spiraled from there. I think like basically just cars, music, like things like that. It's basically just been like a really constant thing in my life in some way or another.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that because I do a bit of music as well. So yeah, cars and music, two main passions. Yeah,
It seems to kind of overlap
absolutely.
because a lot of, I shouldn't really disclose, but there are quite a few musicians who have got very nice cars.
Yeah, yeah. I think Nick Mason from Pink Floyd has a big collection of
He's
Ferraris.
Oh, he's got loads for Clapton's got some nice stuff.
Yeah.
There's a musician there's a very famous musician who lives around the corner from me who's got a very nice Rolls Royce and an 80s Porsche. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, a lot of musicians that have good taste in cars. Um, so, do you play any instruments? So, like, make your own music?
um, yeah, but I started playing piano when I was really young, as a lot of people do. I think if you've grown up with like a family where like you got parents who play instruments. I guess you kind of get started on that pretty early because if you because like oh let's give him some piano lessons and see how he does. And I had piano lessons up until I was like 16. From like well when I was about 5 until I was like 16. I played a bit of trombone, brass stuff up until I was sort of a teenager or sort of early 20s, but I kind of abandoned that. Kind of got bored of it. And I play guitar and bass guitar as well. I'd say that like piano, guitar, and sort of bass guitar are the ones that I'm best at. But there's some other ones, like there's bits that I understand a little bit. I was gonna start making my own music earlier this year, but of course the pandemic happened and I lost 3 months of income, so I couldn't afford, literally couldn't afford to buy the equipment I needed. So
Yeah.
I should be able to get it all within the next couple of months. So
Yeah, hopefully. Good luck with that.
yeah, I've got some of it. It's just I haven't got all of it. So you know.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So how did you like how did your leadership of Music Tribe, how did that happen? How did you come to be the new leader?
I got asked.
Yeah, I think that's how most things
only
happen.
happens like
Yeah.
maybe even less than a week ago. So like yeah, I think John Coleman, who's as you probably know, is one of the community managers at Drive Tribe, set it up as to see how it would do. And yeah, because like he knows that I was quite into the whole thing and I've got contacts and that I was posting quite a lot to it. He let me take over. I guess it's kind of like how Valentina took over Tribeys. You know, it's
Yeah.
I just took over the tribe, and that's how it is. So basically, I'm in charge of it, and I try and go through every day, looking, see what people posted, and because I'm trying to get people to put reviews up on and things like that. And I mean, like if like any ideas are always welcome if you want to give me any ideas about things I could do. You know, like I'm still quite new to it, so like anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's great. That's interesting story. You know, I think didn't John Coleman, he used to be the leader of it. So I guess he
Well,
thought you'd be a
he
good.
was the guy who originally created the tribe. So yeah, he was, and he passed it over to me just this month. So
Yeah. So moving back on to the aspect of cars now, what's your favorite aspect of the motoring community?
I think this might ruffle a few feathers for me, but I actually don't like car culture very much, and it's because it's not very accepting of certain things. I think there's a lot of pressure to be like, oh, you have to have this, and you have to have this, and you have to have this, or like if you do this or say this, you don't like cars, you don't care. You know, it's like you're not proper enthusiast. Like I like electric vehicles a lot, and that I get a lot of stick if I ever write nice things about electric vehicles. But that's how it's going to go. Well, firstly, that's how it's going to go because the oil's going to run out. You can't
Yeah,
avoid that.
absolutely.
And secondly, EVs now in sort of the early 2020s actually really damn good. Like they're not rubbish anymore. I mean, there's still rubbish ones, but like they're not. I mean, like we're at the point now where like you can go for like 300 miles on a charge. That's really good. It means you don't have to charge it up every single day if you're just pootling around in town like most of the week, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
And
there's.
yeah,
Oh,
you've got things like the Rimac that's ridiculously fast, and like there's like I think people are like I think it's because people are so used to having a car with a petrol engine and a manual gearbox and that kind of stuff. Like they don't really think about the good things that could come out of an electric vehicle, which I think is going to be so. We're going to have these. It's like really fast stuff is never going to go away. We're going to have, in fact, if anything, it's going to get more ridiculous because there are people who are legitimately trying to get cars out on the road that have 2,000 horsepower or something like that.
yeah. Something insane like that. Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, like I've not driven an EV yet. I'm gonna try and get my hands on one for like a week or something like that when if it's safe to do so, or if like I can get it done. But like, yeah, and I don't know, like there's certain things that I've encountered that have made me not like car culture very much, but I do like cars.
Yeah. I think that's a good point you bring up about the culture. I know there's definitely a lot of different opinions and toxicity around the whole EV thing, but there's also, I think, a lot of stuff about modifications. I've encountered quite a bit of like heavy like automotive modification enthusiasts who are like, oh, you have
That's
to do
like
this mod
people
and that mod and that. I'm like, I don't want to do mods. Don't tell me what I have to do to my car. You
that, and
just
also people
go
go,
away.
oh, if you rust a mod a car, it's not pure anymore. I'm like, well, if they want to do that, do it. Like it's like, do you know how many people? Do you know like, do you know how many people engine swap old Volkswagens? It's because they honestly like the original engines are rubbish. So
Yeah,
put an Impreza engine. People put Impreza engines and things like that in old VW buses all the time, and it's because they're better and they don't break down as much, and you can keep up with the traffic. You
yeah,
know.
you're not doing 20 in the slow lane.
Yes, like my one of my cousins has got an old Beetle, and like I haven't talked to him in a while, but if I did, it would be like, for the love of God, please swap the engine. Go and find an old Impreza. Go and find an old engine from an Impreza in a scrapyard and that works, and put it in. It's like it'll be much nicer. You'll have
Yeah,
much more fun with it,
much nicer to
or
drive.
turn it into an electric car. You know, because you can get like kits that you can basically install yourself if you know what you're doing. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, just get some battery packs off the internet and just install that.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, so you're an F1 fan, but what's your
Relapse. I think
favorite?
the relapsed F1 fan, I think, is more accurate.
Okay, so you're a relapsed F1 fan, but what's your favorite team, if you have one?
I am. Well, I'm British, and I'm British, so and a lot of the F1 teams are based in Britain. So like, if you so like you can support all sorts of different ones and be like and have like a whole British. But I think like McLaren is probably one of my favorites because I mean it's just I mean there's been so many great drivers that come through like Senna, I think Prost, Lewis Hamilton. He started off at McLaren. Alonso was at McLaren for a little bit, and then like now you got Lando Norris. You got Ricardo's coming in next year. Carlos Sainz. You like they. I think McLaren have a real knack, and Butters or Jenson Button, who's one of my favourite drivers ever. I think
Absolutely,
McLaren have a real knack of getting brilliant drivers,
they
and that's
do.
the reasons why I think they're one of my favourite teams. That, and they're also one of the most ahead of the curve, one of the most up at the forefront of stuff when it comes to incorporating sort of social media and vlogging and things like that, and sort of just fun content into the sport. Something that it really lacked until the ownership changed, until like Liberty Media came in and bought the F1 as a business entity. So I think that plus, well, sort of what they're doing at the moment, plus sort of their historic sort of knack for just being a really good team. I think McLaren's probably one of my favourites. Even
Yeah.
though their road cars aren't that brilliant at the moment. Sorry.
No, no, I mean, they're still making pretty good stuff, but it's not as good as
uh,
they used to be, I think.
well, it's quality control and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of similar to the problems that Tesla are having. It's just like the quality control is just not there. And it's a
Yeah,
real shame because quality issues aside, the cars genuinely are really good. I mean, like, sort of a acquaintance, friend, whatever, he test drove a 720S not long ago, and he said that like it was an amazing car to drive.
it
Although
is.
I think, yeah, he said it was amazingly fast. It was ridiculously fast, but the brakes didn't feel as good as like the car he was driving at that point, which was an Audi R8.
Hmm. Yeah. my cousin has a client who has a 720, and I got to uh, be passenger, and it was quick. It was very quick. I don't know what the brakes felt like because I wasn't driving, but it was very quick, and I think it looks quite good. But I think if you buy one secondhand, quality and that sort of stuff may not be as good as it was new.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, I think another one of my favourite F1 teams at the moment is probably well, what's now known as Racing Point,
Mm.
because God, they've had an incredible comeback, and they're getting Sebastian Vettel next year, which
Yeah,
is pretty amazing.
that's quite an accomplishment. Yeah.
I mean, like, there is the whole sort of elephant in the room with the whole they copied the 2019 Mercedes car, and but like, I mean, like, fair play to them. Like, you gotta respect the hustle of that. Like it's not illegal to do this, so we'll do it. You know. Then meanwhile you got Mercedes with their trick steering, and like they haven't been hounded anywhere near as much as Racing Point were for copying almost an entire car.
Yeah. It's a bit strange the way the stewards, decide who gets points off or who gets penalty or whatever. But yeah,
I just thought it was hilarious that they basically just copied an
like,
entire car.
and they got no word from the stewards about,
mean-
oh, you can't do that.
I mean, the thing is, it's like people cheat in F1 all the time. Like every year, there's someone who cheats. It would be like this year it's Racing Point and the clones car, and Mercedes with the dual accelerator. Last year it was Ferrari with the illegal engine.
Yeah.
There's oh, and there was there's always some kind of cheating thing every year, and it's because there's always a loophole, and the engineers will always poke at it, and they'll always find. I saw somebody joke the other day, so if they did reverse grid races, like Mercedes would probably try and invent a device to create extra dirty air out the back, so that like the other cars would be cars would be slower. And I was like, I can absolutely imagine James Allison doing that. Like he'd be like, I will make the other cars slower.
I will win.
He would be like, you just know that they do that. And it would be hilarious. I think that's part of why F1 is brilliant. Is like you get these. Is like these people are these engineers are so clever that they're able to come up with things that like should be completely illegal, but are not because of loopholes. And I mean, obviously loopholes get closed up, but then they'll just find new stuff to do. You know, like it's always like a thing going from one season to the next. Oh, what's going to be who's going to cheat this time? You know, so.
It's almost like someone's going to cheat, but it's like, okay, who is it this time? Last time it was, for whoever was last time. Like, okay, who's going to cheat now? It's almost inevitable.
That's like Benetton back in, I think, 1994 or something, where they had launch control even though they weren't supposed to have any driver aids. You know?
I said, okay, let's just put it on anyway.
Yeah, there's something, they hid it in a computer system or something like that as an unlabeled option, and like to activate it in the car, you had to do like a Konami code thing where you had to push the pedals in a certain sequence and have the pedals in exactly the right place, otherwise it wouldn't work.
Yeah, I mean, it was very clever, but yeah.
And then there was that thing where McLaren had the extra brake pedal that broke a wheel on one side of the car to turn quicker. And,
Yeah. So, last question. I'm guessing a fan of the big three, Clarkson, Hamden, May. Since you're on Drive Time, I'm kind of assuming that you are. But have you been lucky enough to ever meet or be in the same room as one of them?
No, but Hammond does live quite near me.
Well, maybe one day you can just pop up there and be like, "Hi, Hammond."
Well, he lives yeah, Ross on Wye, which is basically where he lives, is only like a couple of hours. Like I think it's like 1.5 hours drive or 2 hours drive or something like that from where I live. So he's not that far away from me.
Yeah.
The other guys though, never met him, never come close to meeting him. Well, I've never come close to meeting him, but yeah, he's not that far from me. So I've probably
Yeah.
driven past him once or twice and not realised. Yeah, so like going on a long motorway journey up north or something, I've probably gone past him on the M50.
Yeah.
I did get overtaken by Robert Llewellyn once though on the M4 in his Tesla. That was hilarious.
Oh, what was that like? Just him
Well,
speed past you.
first of all he was breaking the speed limit, the naughty bugger. And secondly, like, well, basically it was me because I get really annoyed when people do really obviously dickish things. So there's this guy. I'm sitting just doing 70 with the cruise control on because I'd come home from a press launch like the night before or something. It was a music related thing. I'd gone to a press thing and I got to listen to an album 3 months before it came out. I like to. It's a story that's probably worth an entire episode in itself because it's brilliant.
We'll have to get you back on to have that story. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. I was coming home and I saw this Tesla like coming past me at like a fair bit past an hour, and I was thinking like, who the fuck is this idiot coming past me? And I look and it's him. And I was like, oh my god, it's Robert Llewellyn. It's this guy from Red Dwarf, and he's overtaking me. And then he pulled into a service station like just ahead of me, and it was just like, well, good riddance to you. Now I know you're an idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
No wonder why Johnny Smith left you in your silly YouTube channel. No concern for other road users.
Yeah, just completely oblivious. Just do whatever. He just does whatever he wants.
It's like you're not immortal because you're a celebrity in a Tesla.
Yeah. You're not better than anyone else. You're just a human being.
Not better than me at the time my Ford Focus, which I no longer have, but still.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this interview. And see you next time.